All right. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cast Me Outside. I'm Aaron, your host. This is my podcast. I'm a stand-up comedian and a YouTuber and I and a podcaster. It's different. This video podcast is different than YouTubing. But yeah, this is the first day. It's July 9th, 2025. Yesterday was my last day at work. At a place that I worked at for 4 years, and I am out here trying to make a big move with my life. So it's funny. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, good job! Like, good job." It's like that's not quitting the job isn't the hard part. At least for me, it wasn't in my situation. I was ready to quit the job. I think the harder part is telling people about it. I think telling people I care about it is hard too. Maybe it's their judgment that I'm scared of. Maybe it's just a general disagreement. But I will say I did it. I ripped off the Band-Aid. I told I guess everyone who's important to me, aka my parents, aka my landlords, that this is what I want to do. And I gave them the rough plan that I have. And they're they were very accepting of it, which makes it a little bit more real. But I think from like a guy perspective, it's hard to argue with, like, man to man. If like you go to a guy and you say, "Hey, I'm tired of my life. I'd like to go travel and see the world and maybe try and reestablish myself somewhere," I think most guys are gonna say, "That's sick, man. Go for it." And I've had a lot of that feedback from older men in my life. Like I worked with a guy about the same age as my dad. Actually, they're probably like 2 or 3 years apart. And on the last day, that's basically what he said. What a lot of people say is like, "I wish I took a little bit more risks." And the possibilities. It's like you have so much potential in life, and then you can inject just like a whole another world of potential by traveling. And this is all speculation. Like I said, the easy part's quitting your job. It was getting to the point where it was harder for me to stay there than it was for me to make a change. I think the hard part is the comfort. But back to that. Back to my thread on feedback from the older men in my life. Yeah, I basically got the same thing from my dad. The same kind of go out there. Like, yeah, there's part of me that wishes I took a little bit more risks and went out there and left a shitty situation and tried to change things. I don't know why people don't do it. I still haven't quite done it. I know why I want to do it. 'Cause I think it's just the social pressure. I've been kind of saying something flipped in my brain, and I think that is true. But ultimately, I think it's the social pressure. It's like, go. You did the save part. You did some of the skill building part. I feel like I'm severely lacking in that. Now it's time to roll the dice, as they say. Hope the comedy gods, the travel gods, the regular gods, the more vague gods, I hope they smile upon me. But yeah, today was the first day where I didn't go to work. I might never go back to work. The people were the best part. I think I just kind of know myself enough now to make a change and to kind of advocate for myself. And I hope that's true. I feel like speaking up is a weakness of mine. Like, I was scared to tell my parents, and they were a little shocked. Like, how many days am I not going to go to work until I told them I quit my job. It was one day. I was like, in my mind, I was like pushing it off, pushing it off, pushing it off. Oh, 7 a.m. Good morning. I quit my job. Decided to pass on that. Just didn't go to work and worked on a YouTube script, which was really productive and felt really good. Now that I kind of hit that phase of the writing phase, now it's kind of the executing the script that's intimidating me, but I was able to fill in some of that time. I guess it's almost 2:00 now. I finished the script at about 11, maybe 10:45, and ate lunch, started doing some laundry, did some major tidying. This was a whole mess behind me. I do feel the pull of the doing nothing, like, just click from YouTube to YouTube for a minute, open and close a million apps for a minute. I feel that pull. I scheduled a workout. I'm recording this podcast, trying to get some more guests on the podcast. There's 4 comedians that I'd love to get on the pod. Among a handful of other ones in my scene. So I asked one of them yesterday. We rescheduled for next week, and I got to ask the other ones. I guess I should maybe write that down. Oh, the executing of things. Like the strategic executing of things. I can kind of willy-nilly accomplish 1 or 2 things, but I think what I have is a realistic goal to get those 4 people on the podcast before I leave. It kind of does suck to throw it all up in the air like that, just because, the opportunity cost of getting to know the people around you better. Now that I feel a little bit more focused and driven, I set my expectations, be honest, try not to overexert myself, try not to be like, fuck you losers, I'm going to a different town and everyone's gonna love me there and I'll be a billion kajillionaire. That's not that. I'm trying to come with like a lot more humble energy. I know myself enough, or I like to think I'm objective just enough, have just enough objectivity of the view of myself, to my skills and my capabilities. Never once was I like, am I like, this is going to be easy. I'm like, give me 7 years. Give me 10 years. Like, give me years and years and years. Give me like a lifetime and I'll make it happen. Uh-oh, my parents are back. It's not uh-oh, it's just, it is hard to express yourself around your parents in a way that's like authentic. Like if I'm up here yelling and having a moment, and it could be like the most, just human, acceptable moment, wide range of emotions. Still with other people are gonna be like, are you okay? And it'd be nice if those other people weren't my parents, because I guess there's still a part of me that cares what they think. And I should, honor thy mother and father and mother. Does the order matter? What is the order? I don't know. I was thinking about getting a now live sign. A classier do not disturb. Live. What are you doing here? Go live. Because we're live. Busy, kind of emotional day. The saying goodbye of a workplace after you've been there for a minute. I checked like 90% of the boxes I wanted to check. And I'm hoping I should like do a woo-woo extraction thing. Extraction, that's a department where I work. But I should do like a woo-woo, like energy reclaiming I forget where we did it. I forget if it was something online or if it was something I did in a yoga class. But we closed our eyes and we went to places where we've been that there might be like traumatic energy or maybe positive energy, but still where we go back to, and you kind of re-envision it and you kind of just claim your energy back. I don't think there was much more to it than that, but think there's something super comforting about it. The idea that you could leave pieces of you somewhere, like psychically, and I guess physically. Ask people who went to war. Jeff's legs are in Iraq, or maybe Afghanistan. I don't know. Sorry, Jeff, and your legs. He's a comedian, Baltimore-based comedian who ain't got no legs. It was funny, like the first time he came to a mic in Harrisburg, and he had a joke about not liking soccer. And I was like, go figure, the guy without legs hates soccer. You have legs, you can't make fun of people without legs. Okay. Irony is usually not lost on me. Then I had like a lame product idea because, of course, I picked up a little rubber band to fidget with. I just showed the camera the rubber band, and I was like, that could be your merch. Here's your rubber band fidget. And then I will say, yes, this is just a rubber band you're paying $3 for, but it's branded. And it's framed with a functionality in mind. See, that's just bent metal. No, that's a paperclip, buddy. And you can use it to solve your problems. I just keep freestyling. Obviously, I lost some of the more poignant parts I was getting at. Just talk about things I bought. I bought a big ass power bank. I should have spent a couple $100 more. I was trying to be frugal. There's a couple bad comments about it. Namely, it's not strong enough to use like appliances like rice cookers, electric kettles, coffee machines. I think there may be a way around it. These power stations, these like essentially huge portable batteries. So with them, like a lot of their marketing is the fridge. Because I think you have it plugged in the wall socket and then plugged into your fridge. And then the idea is if your power goes out, you'll have that electricity in the battery to power your fridge for hopefully enough time that your food doesn't spoil. So it's a little bit deceiving because some of these fridges are only like 130 watts. But and you'd be surprised, or at least I'm surprised, looking at like these electric kettles. A lot of them are like 1,500 watts. The thing I bought is definitely not 1,500 watts. I'm gonna try and find a 1,000-watt one because the product I have has a wattage boost. So I'm hoping, because this is the case for fridges, is that it needs like 1,000 watts to start. And then once it starts, it doesn't run that high the whole time. And I'm hoping that's some of the case for some of these other appliances, like namely coffee machine, some sort of electric kettle that I can make coffee out of. And I saw one review saying that an electric kettle that was only 1,000 watts worked. But dude, they're all such high wattage. So that's been like my fun little hyperfixation thing. And I keep telling myself, oh, I'm not going to buy any more stuff. I think power is a good investment. And I probably should have invested a couple $100 more. And I'm going to have a paycheck tomorrow and one more paycheck. That's probably going to be like a half a paycheck or even less. And then that's it for guaranteed money that's coming in. So that's scary. That adds like a level of scarcity and stuff, which you don't like. I don't like. It's definitely like a real feeling knowing you're kind of draining your nest egg, your savings. So I gotta be smart. I did buy a yoga pack 5 classes for $90, which is, $20 a class is about how it goes, and that is pretty expensive. But I've been getting a lot of uh, enjoyment from yoga, especially outside of yoga. I feel like super trim. I feel um, not quite as beat up. I've been on the same kind of workout plan for about a month now, I guess. Maybe like exactly a month. So it'd be interesting to look at like my lifting data, because I'm doing 2 days of lifting and then a day of running and a day of yoga, and then hopefully only 2 days off, or sometimes 3 days off a week, and like just try and get back at it as soon uh, as I can. Like, oh, I just lifted. Let's see if I can do yoga the next day. I do need a rest day, like in between every 2 or 3 workouts. And the weights are getting really heavy. I can feel it in my thighs. I can feel it in my chest. I'm like almost a little disappointed I didn't up my weight soon enough, because it definitely has been a big jump. Like I was like staying pretty low on my squats, and I'm still like relatively low for people whose lifting is their main strength. Like I'm squatting like 140, 145, and I can do the 5x5 of it, and I've done it for 2 or 3 exercises now. But there's like a level of soreness and like ache in the days after that exercise that aren't that wasn't felt even 10 pounds ago. I did like jump up a little bit faster because I wanted to get to that, like the ego wanted to get to the 45s on both sides. And I know I've been there before, so it's not that crazy. It wasn't like that crazy of a sprint. It was like kind of like, okay, I've been, a little bit over. I've been significantly over this. I think the most I ever squatted was like 165 for 5x5. So I've been like significantly over it. So I was just excited to get back there, and like I said, the ego thing, to have like the red plates on the both sides. And there's like a sadness to the leaving. I just feel like I fucked up so much. When that's not the case. There was a quote from Chris Williamson, or maybe it was an Alex Hormozi quote that Chris Williamson, dang it, don't even know his name. There was a quote of his. There's things you accomplished today that you 10 years ago would have been proud of. And I think that's true. There's things that you've already accomplished that you told yourself 10 years ago were going to make you happy. And I try to think about, is that the case? And I don't know. I don't know if I've ever really been satisfied. I think there's literally 2 things that are true in that. And it's getting a relationship, even though it ended, and I had to go through all that pain, but that pain, motivated a lot of growth over the past 6 months. But still, even getting that, like, there was a lot of like pushing and getting out of my own way that I had to do to get that. Figuring out someone isn't the person that you're going to build a sustainable life doesn't mean when that person can't be in your life, or 2, that relationship was a major waste of time. Like, ideally, you'd figure that stuff out sooner and accept the reality and move on, but it's funny the way it is sometimes. So yeah, so I should be proud of myself for that. And I'm up there on stage. I don't know if it was last weekend or 2 weekends ago. I guess it wasn't last weekend, because last weekend was the 4th of July, but 2 weekends ago, Matt Moore, Channel 5 Ratchet News, shout out to him. He hit me up and let me get on stage, and, I got paid to do comedy. I think if I told myself that 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh, that would probably make me pretty happy. So two kind of big things. I don't know if it was so cut and dry 10 years ago, but definitely was still wanted a woman in my life 10 years ago. Definitely wanted to be a comedian in the back of my head 10 years ago. So those are two major things. I should be happy about that. I should celebrate that. And, I should be super grateful for my work, and I should be super grateful that I got out of there. Because we can just do Chris Williamson Reflection Day. So that's bugging the crap out of me. And I can feel the soreness. It's definitely like a next level. Even with like the bench press, which I have not been going balls to the walls with any of the real lifts, because I just know how that cooks my nervous system, and I can't have entire days where I feel like I need to recover, or I can't have days where the workout is so intense that the rest of the day is cooked. I need to be able to get my workout in and do something else productive without feeling like, oh shit, I'm gonna just lay in bed and recover. So I think I've paced myself really, really well, and I'm not gonna crank up the weight. But yeah, what was I gonna talk? Oh yeah, okay, good. We can just end it on this. So yeah, whatever. Gratitude blast. Thank you guys for being in my life. I'm lucky to have a group of decent people. I'm lucky that I came across a group of decent people. And, any emotional pangs are normal. And you're just people too. So I can be grateful for you people in my life, and I can be realistic. But yeah, what was it? Oh, it was the quote that like you don't change the things that don't hurt a lot. So the idea is, if you're in kind of a shitty situation, but it's not so horrible, like day in, day out, it's livable, but it's far from ideal. You're not going to change that. You didn't hit the threshold of pain to actually make a change. And in a way, you're worse off, because if you actually did hit that pain threshold, you'd make the change and your life would be amazing. Or not your life be amazing, but you'd be at least, taking another bite of the cherry. You'd be going for it again you'd be going for it. But because it's serviceable, because it's not too bad, you essentially are just accept it, and you're stuck with this low level, or this low potential, this low potential life, your low potential version. And it's ironic because he Chris Williamson uses like mold, like, oh, say there's mold in your apartment, but the mold isn't really up in your face attacking you. Maybe it's making you sick eventually, but it's not like aggressive enough for you to and it's like not big of enough a problem for you to move, because that's not really how it activates, or how so you just end up being in a moldy place, not because you don't want better, but just because the pain isn't there enough to make a move or to change. And it's ironically, I worked in a greenhouse, and there definitely is tons of mold in that place. It wasn't like growing on the wall, but it was growing in the plants, and it was definitely there. So it's super ironic that he used that analogy or metaphor. And I'm like in a very, very similar, or was in a very, very similar place, and I finally escaped. So thank the good Lord. I gotta just hope that my body could handle the 4 years of it. Maybe I should try and do a fast or something. They say fasts are good. They say fast, like, your body flushes potentially cancerous cells when you fast. So what's the thing that you want to change that you're tolerating and is tolerable, so you just find yourself never actually making the change? For me, it was definitely my job, until I guess it became intolerable. But I think that's a powerful thought project or question to ask yourself. So I'll leave you guys with that, because that's it for this episode of Cast Me Outside. It's been a lot of fun, but we're done. Gotta run. Thank you this time for your time. And until next time, keep on living and loving. Peace.